Hello my turtles and welcome back to Foxfoot Crafts. Today's video for some reason did cut out the first part of me sketching this magpie as a Patreon reward, but I did want to go ahead and show the rest of the footage. Not sure why that happened. I definitely remember seeing it pull up on my computer and clicking the little button in the side and going through and taking care of all of it, but for some reason it just, again, I don't know if I accidentally deleted it or maybe I just saved it somewhere that I don't know on my computer. It's a little frustrating, but you may have noticed that my videos have kind of slowed down. We are entering the holiday times, and so because of that, a lot of the projects that I have going on around this time are gifts for people and commissions for people, and so I try to keep it, you know, a surprise. So nobody wants to log on and see their gift, their holiday gift being created right there. So I apologize if anyone has noticed the decrease in content, but on top of that, I've also been super busy with just regular stuff in my real life. I've got some stuff going on. So if you follow me on Patreon, if you are a Patreon, then you know if you are tadpole level or higher, you get a free monthly sketch, and so that is what these videos are. These videos are the Patreon rewards. Now, one of the requests was an Australian magpie, and then to add the little tie to it, it just felt right. The person that requested this, I was like, yeah, you know, if he were a little magpie, he'd be a handsome little magpie that wears a very professional little tie. Like, you know, if this was a magpie that was showing up for a job interview, you'd be like, he's got it, he's got the job. So I need to hire some magpies here at Foxfoot Crafts. I think they'd be a really important asset to my brand. Now, this person is a polywog tier. So tadpole tiers get a black and white sketch, whereas polywogs get a colored sketch. Because this is a magpie, magpies are in the corvid family, so they're related to crows and ravens and blue jays, and which are all just really, really intelligent birds. But they are similar in color to what like Americans would think of as a crow, and so that's not a lot of color to them. They do have some really cool like little white shoulders and a white band behind their head, so that is different, whereas ours are just solid black. They do have some really nice white banding to them, and that beak that I noticed is kind of like a bluish gray white. It's very pretty as well. So and there we have the very handsome Australian magpie. Moving on to our next Patreon request. the person that requested this requested my ideal werewolf. I kind of felt like this was a little bit biased because anyone who knows me, you know that I love werewolves, and in all honesty, all werewolves are the ideal werewolf. Like, if I could be a monster, I'd want to be a werewolf. I love them. I love werewolves. I always have loved werewolves. As a kid, I remember convincing like a neighbor kid that I was a werewolf, and it was a whole thing. So just all werewolves are the ideal werewolves. But I decided to just kind of make, you know, perfect, just big claws, big wolf face, the shredded, like, button-up top. A friend of mine and I were talking about how, like, werewolves are just always seen in, like, plaid and flannel, and I'm like, yeah, it's like the werewolf vibe, you know. If you're gonna be a werewolf, you gotta have the plaid. So it's like, oh, full moon, gotta put on my flannel, and it just feels right. I actually remember back in high school, I had a friend that requested I draw his first Sona that was a wolf. And looking back at it now, when I think back to it, I'm like, oh no, that was so bad. Like, that piece of art will probably forever haunt me. Like, I think about it all the time of how bad it was, how the muzzle looked. It was I am not proud of that piece of art. Like, I've lost contact with that friend since, but if I could get back in touch with him, I'd be like, please let me redraw this, because I can definitely draw muzzles way better now. And I really thank My Little Pony for that, because when I was super heavy, before I got chased out of the pony community, I drew a ton of ponies, and that kind of really allowed me to draw that snout or that muzzle. And so now when I draw wolf characters or animal characters, they definitely have a much better face than that piece I drew back in high school. So that is a piece that will haunt me forever. So in thinking about it, you know, whenever you draw werewolves, they've always got the shredded up clothing. And in my experience, flannel, well, I buy all my flannel at like thrift shops and stuff. If I'm at a thrift shop and I find a flannel shirt, I can't say no. I try and I just can't. But so I'm a little biased on that, of where maybe I don't know the price market of flannel. But is flannel cheap? Like, is it something that you can go to the store and buy a flannel shirt for just very little and not be super heartbroken if you shred it up? Because, I mean, otherwise, I mean, it's kind of like what we do in the shadows, where it's like, make sure you take off anything you don't want destroyed, and that would be my thing. I'd be like, well, I really like these clothes, and these are my werewolf shredding clothes, and I feel like it would entail a lot of like pre-planning for me. I tend to over-plan everything anyway. That's just personality trait of mine. I like details, I like planning, I like prepping. I'm not a big fan of surprises, and so to be a werewolf, I'd be like, all right, this is the full moon schedule, this is when it happens, these are the preparations I need to take, so. And there we have my ideal werewolf. So I love her. I think she's adorable. Yeah, like I said though, I'm a little bit biased. All werewolves are the ideal werewolf. So thank you everybody for tuning in. If you're interested in getting free monthly sketches, I have higher tiers as well that you can get things sent to you in the mail. Who doesn't like snail mail? You can become a patron over at patreon.com/foxfootcrafts. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and I hope everyone stays safe.